I am live. I wish you could see my screen from this side. It says, "You're live." Okay, here we go. We're live. Hello, everybody. So, this is a very, very happy new moon to each and every one of you. It's been quite a day, actually. If you are just waking up, because most of my peeps are over there in the States or in Calgary or Canada or whatever, I'm always your friend from the future. Okay. And so far, the new moon has been pretty nice to us this side. It's been quite amazing because, as we know, these new moons can actually feel like full moons, but this is a new moon supermoon. So, of course, supermoons, as we know, they are just a hell of a lot more potent. You know what I mean? There is like a lot more power and energy that is coming from them. So, I always like to go into a little bit of an energy update as we move into this glorious live, which is the tablets of light, bringing the leaders into leading, as it were. This is what this live is all about because things are ramping up. And I mean, let's just go back to the Virgo moon, okay, the Virgo full moon, which, by the way, I landed head on into when I came back from LA. Um, that was intense. That was a huge, deep, dark birthing something that came out of me, and I think it came out of all of us. And now we're into this new moon, which is really, really potent because it's a super moon. It's all to do with just we are just being plunged into death, rebirth, resurrection, rebirth, resurrection. And we've really, really kind of spitting and polishing, as it were, this process of going into that death, being okay with going into the dark and not resisting it, and then obviously resurrecting, you know what I mean, and repeating that cycle effortlessly. Essentially, when we get into that real divine flow, that is when we're in union, and we're getting it, albeit slowly but surely, but we are getting it. So I mean, like, what are these moons all about? What is it? Hello. I'm just seeing all you guys coming on now. How are you doing, guys? So I want to just talk about, how does all of this tie in to what I'm going to talk about with the tablets of light? Well, I mean, basically, as you all know, I teach the teachers. I remind people of their leadership and their warriorship, their pioneership, if that's even a word. You know what I mean? We are all leaders in our own right. And this is the thing, it's like anybody who's basically left in the shower and the shadows and feeling less than, that's absolute bullshit, because that's not actually what's going on here. Basically, we all have the power to lead. We're basically going to be leadership through love is what I'm trying to get to, and we all have that strength and that power and that ability. Now, what's happening right now is, as we're being like plunged into knowing that and embodying that and being that, what's happening is there's a lot of resistance as we're kind of like kicking back from it. Be careful what you wish for. We're now calling in, for us to step into our own tablet of light and to know thyself, which is very much what the Egyptians say. But then when we kind of like get plunged into that newness and that transformation, that is just as scary as basically being in the dark night of the soul. So when we go into these brand new transformations and we look around, nothing's familiar, and you know that you've been pushed through that portal, but then it's traumatic trying to deal with the lack of familiarity that's around you. And it takes a while to kind of like get okay with that, but it's not a comfortable experience at all. So this will not sit with us forever, because I know a lot of us are still in the depths of it, but I know there's a lot of us that are kind of flying and a little bit in the depths, and there's some of us that are just flying. Do you know what I mean? So, but either way, the energetic prediction from my side is, as we move through, I mean, what are we now? We are now in March, okay? So as we move through April, there's a big energetic alignments and things like that happening in April, and really, really big shifts and alignments and galactic shifts and shakes, as it were, there's going to be happening in May. And that's when the Tablets of Light tour to Egypt is going to be underway from the 9th to the 19th. Now, isn't that quite funny that last year I was on the 7th? I think I was the 7th to the 17th or the 27th. I don't know. There was sevens in the date for last year, which is all about completion. And now the dates that have just fallen into alignment, I didn't purposely pick them, is the 9th to the 19th. Now, each time I pick a date when I go to Egypt, every single time I don't pick it and go, oh, well, that's cool because it's got nines in it, or, oh, that's great because it's got a full moon. I always just end up on these dates, which just so happens to always be aligned with some galactic something, or some big holiday in Egypt, or some big shift, right? So that is beautiful and amazing, because that just tells us that we are in alignment with working with this frequency and energy with Egypt. So for those of you that don't know about the Egypt tour and everything like that, and the depths of what it's here for, it's for the leaders, it's for the way showers. Now, that's not just a sectioning people off. We're all leaders and way showers. We all have the power and capacity to create, whether it's basically a beautiful family, whether it's a beautiful painting, whether it's a flower garden. Basically, being a conscious creator is showing up in the world, sharing your heart encodements with the world, and not being scared to do it. I mean, what is your contribution? Now, if you are contributing being scared in the shadows, then of course you're going to get more of that. So it doesn't matter really what you are channeling um your creative codes into. It's the fact that you're channeling them. It's about being in flow and harmonizing. Everything is about harmonizing, right? So the tablets of light tour is basically about bringing you into that sweet spot. So as I know, I always talk about the Heka codes. Heka is the alchemy teachings. Intention plus action equals creation, right? So that is how we create. Those are the manifestation codes of bringing a thought into a thing, right? So in a way, when you think about it, that's how the temples were built. In a way, that's how you were born. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's just how it is. Energy comes into physical and then something happens. Do you know what I mean? So we have to bring that innate capacity and ability back online, because that essentially is the doorway to us being harmonious with our own natural frequency. When we are pushing against it and vibrating against it and just doing that, we are not in harmony. So everything is off kilter and off balance. So what am I talking about here? I'm talking about the divine masculine truly coming in with divine feminine and finding that easeful flow in and out. Okay, so that is what the tablets of light can help you with. When you travel to Egypt with me, it may be, I'm always talking about ideas and creations, it may be that you're the idea and the creation. It may be that you need to step into the world, maybe not a thing or an idea that you were thinking about, maybe you're the idea. You know what I mean? So that, again, that's your contribution. So if that's what you're pitching up to the plate with, then that is you being in service, right? So that is what it's all about. So how the tablets of light works is we tap into the medicine of the temple. Okay, because let me just say to you why temples actually stand. Okay, why they are still standing. The Egyptians knew this, that when you stood in front of a temple, or when you stood inside of a temple, or whatever, wherever you are, you would tap into the energy and frequency of what that felt like. Okay, now what does it feel like when you stand in front of a temple? All of a sudden you're just like, this is so sacred. This is so peaceful. This is so powerful. I feel connected to spirit. I feel connected to myself. I feel connected to all that there is. And there's a sense of peace inside of me, and et cetera, right? That's how it makes you feel, right? Now, the reason the temples stand is to reflect that back to you, because you are the temple. You are the temple, okay? And that is why they're still standing to this time, especially with the Great Pyramid. They're here to remind us of this. So with you being the temple, like the kingdom of heaven is within you, we mustn't keep going. Like, in a way, I mean, us going to Egypt, I love going to Egypt, but I don't have to, because I can tap into that frequency from here. But I love my Egypt. I really, really do. And it's a magical and amazing place. You know what I mean? But you can actually access Egypt, which we're going to do today. We can access Egypt just by going into our inner portal, right? So with the temples making you feel that way, that connection, that's what all of this is all about. Connectivity, knowing that you are not separate, knowing that you are in fact that creator being, and you know how to bring thoughts into things. You know how to live in harmony, you know how to live in balance, and so on and so forth, as I've just gone over. So I have a whole list here. You know how I like my lists and everything like that. So moving past who you were, right? So, I mean, it's all well and good me banging on about the temples and everything like that. Let's really get into it. Moving past who you were. So what I mean by that, okay, is I hear so many peeps say, I am an incarnation of Mary Magdalene. I'm an incarnation of Yeshua, and so on and so forth. Kind of yes and kind of no. But the thing is, it's like we can't be a physical ancestral line of any of these beings, because they were light conceived. They were only brought through the mother's DNA. They were not brought through the physical man's DNA. You know what I mean? It's like Mother Mary, who was Anna grandmother's Jesus' daughter, she was light conceived. So Anna grandmother's Jesus husband had really nothing to do with that. But, like, you know what I mean? It was the light conception that came through. So there is no physical masculine, like male DNA, and there is there is the physical of the female DNA that is given. But that's what I'm saying. We must understand that we are aspects of the whole. Now, what I'm finding, and I'm going to speak real out there, I'm finding that we're all getting lost on our path because because we come from a place of lack, me included, because I'm always banging on about details, you know what I mean? To just try and fill my cup, I suppose. But it's just like if we just knew and we were just being and it just is, you know what I mean? Everything would like move a lot quicker. But because we come from a sense of lack, we are wanting to know that are we really an incarnation from Mother Mary? You know, am I Anna grandmother of Jesus? Kind of, yes, you are, because they're aspects of us, right? But we are not them. So what happens is when we come to the table, and I'm going to just say it, that when we come to the table and I talk about Atlantis or Lemuria, I have so many of us that are still polishing our crowns and going, I was this in a past life, I was that in a past life, and I did this and I did that. And you know what? It's a distraction, because what it actually distracts you from is tapping into your innate abilities in the here and now. Like, what are you bringing? I'll go back to that contribution. What are you bringing to the plate in the here and now? Absolutely no shadow of a doubt you are a high priestess or a high priest. Absolutely no shadow of a doubt you were a high king. You know what I mean? That's great. But let's take those encodements now and that experience you have having lived in those lives and pile it into building the pyramids. Let's do that. You know, and I'm just going to go through my list here. Focusing on the now, present moment, and not who you were in the past lives. Let's build the temple and focus less on the energy that allows you to do that. Meaning, if we're all stood in a circle and we've got together and we're like, right, we're going to build the pyramids now, right? And we get together and we hold hands. And we're like, right, let's do this. You know, if we're all looking behind us going, well, this frequency that's coming in, well, this is actually a little bit of Yeshua. And I'm also from the Palladians. And also as well, hang on a minute, let's just pause on the building of the pyramid. Also, I am Andromeda and I'm this, that, and the other. Do you see how we will not get things done? Because it's amazing and awesome that you know that. Quite frankly, I don't know half the flipping frequencies that move through me. They just are, and they're flipping powerful. And I just know it comes through my higher self. I know a lot of them, but I don't know a lot of them. And it's okay because I know it's of the highest frequency, because I know it makes me feel a certain type of way. And basically it's me, because we're one with everything. So I can now focus on the job in hand and just build the pyramid, as we can all do. So do you see how it's a bit of a distraction where we're still trying to kind of define and understand who we are and what we're going on, got going on. Now, listen, it is a very, very healthy balance to basically do some research and look into that, because this is what all these flipping books are about. I can't stop researching. I love it. I'm lineage of Thoth. What can I tell you? But the thing is, I don't let it take over, even though some days it does. I don't let it take over what the job in hand is, because I want you to succeed. I want you to build your own tour if you want to build your own tour. I want you to write your own spiritual book if that's what you want to do. I know that I spoke to somebody the other day, and you know, and I don't want to say names because they obviously get embarrassed and everything like that, but one of my YouTubers, you know who you are, I flicked over to her page and she's doing these amazing channels, and I was like, why are you not out there doing this? Because we come from this, oh my God, I'm not good enough. You know what I mean? So that needing to decipher what frequency we've got going on is a distraction. So we just need to come together. We just need to know that we're safe and bring those encodements out, right? So that's what I mean about focusing less on where you've been and let's focus more about now and where we're going, right? So grounding your ascended master self, right? Again, reading from my list. Who are you? What are your superpowers? What have you agreed to do? Oh, look, there's my thumb. It always happens. I can never recreate that, but we'll just enjoy it. Clearly, I got it. Look, doesn't happen again, you know? Anyway, I digress. So, yes, what are your superpowers? What have you agreed to do? The mission, the purpose. What does this look like? Living your ancient wisdom in your modern day life. Bring it back. So here we are. So we've all been in the temples in Egypt. We've done it all. We've done all this stuff, you know. So we're never going to live a temple life again. In fact, if we did try to live temple life, it just doesn't fit, does it? Do you know what I mean? Like we're surrounded by phones, computers, each other, noise. Do you know what I mean? If I wanted to be a Zen master, I'd probably find it easier to be a Zen master back then than I do now, because it's quite easy to only be distracted by goats. Do you know what I'm saying? So we have to kind of align with our environment and get conducive with that, so we can have real expectations on what we need to bring through, and all of those powerful Egyptian frequencies that we have, you know, the tablet of light. How do we bring this forward and basically build our own pyramids? How do we bring that magic and wisdom through so we can birth a brand new modern day living version of what we did back then? And that is what the tablets of light tour is all about. We go in with the intention. We work in every single temple, taking the magic and the wisdom and the temple codes like having that, like, receiving, transmitting, all of the above, really working with your frequency, but still knowing and holding on to the anchor and intention that you are a human being incarnate in 2024, not back then. Do you know what I mean? Because the thing is, that's where the two's got to come together. And this is where I feel the split happens. You know what I mean? I know this because I've been there, so I have to have like real talk with myself a lot. What are we doing this life, Marie? Stop procrastinating. Let's get busy. How does it fit in this life? Right. So all of this is basically like, yeah, all of this is how you kind of step into your space, how you come into this realm, and how you show up in this world. So I mean, look, the tablets of light, and I'm thinking of actually well, not thinking, I'm going to be releasing an online course to do with the tablets of light, probably second half of this year, because the work that I share in the temples is so powerful, and it's so assistive in unlocking really easily what it is that you've come to do. And I've always said it, the Heka codes, which is essentially the tablets of light on fleek, like the Heka codes is basically taught in the temples when I go to Egypt. You go through that movement. I mean, this is the difference between the new teachers that are coming up now and old teachers. There's a lot of us around. We're now looking at that one time tap, walking through the portal, coming out the other side. You can't unknow what you now know. Alchemical teachings, hermetic teachings have now been, activated in you. You remember how to do this, and now you apply it in this world, right? We cannot keep going back in and out and repeating workshop after workshop after workshop, and then getting sad because we're not any further forward. Now, something happened to me when I came back from LA, which is very much to do with the message of Egypt, especially this year. Egypt's temples are upgrading, right? Egypt told me last year, she was like, it's upgrading. Get your Nikes on, girl. You got to kind of expand, because I go through so much medicine and activation and shadow work to actually hold a tour every single year. Trust me, I do. It's a deal. It's a big deal. It's tiring. But I have to go up there to meet her every single time. And this time she's really activated. And now we're being called to step up to that next level, because she has her temples of light, they've expanded. So now, going back to Egypt and unlocking, all of this, it's time to get busy now, because we can't keep repeating and studying and getting ready. And ready for what? You're ready. So when I went to LA, I was telling my story. When I went to LA and I came back, I was actually faced, long story short, with the Black Magdalene. I didn't know who the Black Magdalene was, and it was the Divine Mother. And she just said, everything is in you. Stop looking left, right, and out there. It's in you. And I was like, oh God, another deep dive to go and unlock all of this wisdom. And she said, no, just look in the mirror. Just accept and acknowledge this. Allow her to just be seen, for goodness sake. Do you know what I mean? Because she's got all of the wisdom. And even if it's a man that's watching this video, you have the wisdom. Just because you don't have a physical womb, you have a heart. It's the same thing. Do you know what I mean? So it's now about becoming. It's about authenticity. It's about integrity. It's about stepping into this ascended master self that you are. That's where all this effing frustration's coming from. And that is why I birthed the Tablets of Light tour now. And that is why I'm being like probably urged to actually turn this into an online course as well, because this is what it looks like. Okay, so this book here, Tablets of Light Journal, right? I designed this all by myself. Well, I didn't, I had help. Okay, so this Tablets of Light Journal is your Tablets of Light. It's very, very powerful. And in here, okay, I've obviously written all my sacred poetry, which when you open it, it starts to activate you big time. So look, there we go. The Lyrans, leadership through love, you see? But before every single temple, right, you see here, every single temple there is. So we have the Sphinx, then we have the Great Pyramid. And in this book, there is every single temple that we go and visit, right? Temple Karnak, right? Now, after there, we go in and we start to write down our experience, okay? What we want, what's the intention before we go into this temple? So you write that there before you go into the temple. And then when you get to the actual temple itself, you write what you thought the message was here. And then when you get back to your hotel room, you write here what you thought, what the real one-liner, what message you thought that temple was speaking to you. So as you get through this whole experience, as you can imagine, there's temples, there's Sekhmet's temple, same thing. We get all the way to the end of the book. We go to the crypt. I get it right. We go to the crypt here. You write the same thing. So when you come to me and you have your Tablets of Light in your hand, I'm going, right, go back to the beginning. Let's go back to every single temple that you went and visited, whether it was energetically, like on an online course, or whether it's actually, like in Egypt. And then let's go back to that little box and let's decipher each and every temple message. You will be blown away as to what you thought the temples were telling you, but through this tablet of light, I call it a she's going to tell you exactly what's up, and you're going to be so surprised because we alchemically decode your whole experience. So it's not just a tour to Egypt. It's not. This is the key. So when you get back from Egypt, okay, and you've got this, so everything you've been through, blood, sweat, tears, laughter, all of the above, right? When you get back, okay, we have a little bit of downtime, and then we pull our books out, and then I'll work with you and I'll go, right, get that book out. Let's see what it's vibrating at. And then we decipher your mission and purpose and what you came here to do. This is the activating factor of why you came. And this is why I speak about it, that once you know, you can't unknow, because it's in here. And this isn't just a workbook, it's actually a very beautiful journal, but it holds so much energy and frequency that you will go back to it time and time again if you choose to write in it. That is, you might not write in it, but like I'd like you to. You go back to this time and time and time again, and it will unlock. I know people that have been to Egypt with me, like when I met them in 2015, they're still unpacking their experience from back then. So like once you've completed that and we've unlocked your experience, like how will you ever need to go on another workshop or go and sit in someone's classroom thinking you don't know anything? How can you sit there and think that you're too scared to go and like share your encodements in the world? It's impossible, because once you've seen yourself, and if the temples are going to show you, trust me, when you get into a circle with me and you've got your book in hand, you're going to see yourself. You can't unknow truth. Do you know what I'm saying? And I'm talking really deeply about this on the new moon because something has to give. Because I know in every single conversation I have with each and every one of you on YouTube, even on Instagram, my heart pops every time. And there is just like, there is so much energy, frequency, and love. Do you know what I mean? That emanates from you, from me, and we connect. And all of that power is sitting in a cave because you're scared to kind of like step out and just actually be unapologetically you. This is what it's all about. It's actually not building a three floor ashram. That's not why we're going to Egypt. We're going to Egypt to find out to unlock your truth. So you can take those skinny jeans off, which are basically a size too short, size too tight, and just, whoa. When you have eventually said how you really feel to someone that is just, you've been too scared to say something. That's what it feels like, where you just go, God, that was easier just standing in my truth and actually not being scared about upsetting anybody, speaking our truth. And I want to talk a lot about that now, just by the way, at the end of the book, Mission Complete, the Masters Awaken. So that is kind of like probably a selling guarantee. That when you walk with me, Mission Complete, the Masters Awaken. Just had to share that because I saw that there, but that's the truth. That's the truth, So this is the thing, we cannot sit here on our laurels and expect everything to come to us if we're not prepared to pitch up. Merlin said, okay, without taking a risk, there is no magic. You cannot create magic without taking a risk, right? If you're not prepared to get into your uncomfortable zone, which by the way, I do on the daily, I don't know why, but I tell you what, the growth and transformation is amazing. But like it's hard. I'm not going to sit there and say it's easy. It's hard, but wouldn't you rather just push through, face it, do something completely full on and full out there, and just go, and then just go, well, it's done now. It's up to you whether you are the marble up the hill scenario where you throw the marble up and then does it go over the mountain or does it roll all the way back down? That's a you thing. That's a choice. You know what I mean? Now, I can share with you that my sacred journeys to Egypt, as a lot of you know, 2015, I went there with a group of 40 people, vibrated in inadequacy. It was awful. Like it was just, I don't think I could have got any smaller. But here I am, sat here, taking my own groups to Egypt. Now, listen, if you came to Egypt or you tapped into Egypt in some way, who knows whether you're supposed to be holding a tour? What if you've got some powerful encodements in there that you're about to unlock a Magdalene mystery within inside of you? Or perhaps you sat there and you've got the Toth lineage within you. Spoke to somebody the other day, beautiful guy called Stephen in Calgary, who's just started to build pyramids in people's gardens and things like that. He knows exactly how to build pyramids. We are coming online. I mean, he's a crane operator, go figure. So What I'm saying is we're all popping like popcorn. Now is the time to look around you and go, right, what can I do to meet this magic? What can I commit to meet this magic? You're always going to say, not enough time, not enough money, can't do it because, well, okay, so forever be still. Do you know what I mean? I've never had enough time. I've never had enough money. I've got 2 kids, a million animals, a husband, God knows what else. And somewhere, somehow, I don't know how I figured it out, but I just gave my sacred yes. So what I'm saying is with this new moon, it's not for you to figure it out. It's for you to tap into your temple and for you to just give your sacred yes and say, I am ready to be shown exactly where I need to be, how I need to be. Just open the pathway and I will honor with a sacred yes. That's all you have to do. Hand the rest over to your team. You know? So now, like I've said, always said, the purpose of the tablets of light tour as well is also about meeting your tribe. It is absolute paramount that if you want to, totally thanks, cool book. Okay, sorry, I always forget to look at the messages here. You know what I mean? And hey, Susie, everyone's here. So yeah, so this is the thing, finding your tribe is paramount, right? Now, I have felt a big surge of energy because, like, I have been meeting everybody in Egypt. Okay, I have been like, I think Zoom calls has been my best version of that. I'm like, hey, cool, let's chat, whatever. But now I've got this very, very powerful urge that I need to get on a plane and need to get busy. And my next stop is going to be Canada, Calgary. For those of you listening, incoming. I've got the message. I've got to go out there. Just been to LA, and I'm just going to go and do it because what do you know? I know so clearly that if we come together as a tribe, physically, but that takes you stepping out the woodwork as well. If we come together and we meet halfway, when your tribe meets tribe, all of your encodement's open because you're feeling safe, because you're feeling comfortable with those that you're sharing your light with. You feel safe, and when you feel safe, you're basically going to unlock all of your beautiful blueprint because you know that they get you, right? They are picking up what you're putting down. Now, I have seen that happen in a multitude of ways, and I've actually seen how I have behaved when I'm with my tribe. I have been mistaken in the past that I thought I was with my tribe, and I wasn't. I was with my tribe for more lessons, for another dark night in the soul. So I kind of mistakenly took that as like, oh, these are my tribe. And I had to be very vulnerably open. And then something went down, whatever. But then when I started to meet my true family, and you guys know who you are because you're all here, when I really felt my family, there was a different energy to that. And there was an undeniable sense of safety. Now, every single starseed out there watching this now, tell me that you don't feel unsafe. We all do. Comes with the territory, but we are leaders, we are way showers, and like I call it the penguin syndrome. We're all dancing around on the back of an iceberg, all dithering around, and nobody's jumping. Like nobody's jumping, and then one penguin goes, then we all go. I might be that first penguin. Because I've taken many hits from the team, and I seem to be jumping around on a penguin, on an iceberg, ever such a lot. Do you know what I mean? Ever such a lot. So this is what's going to be happening. Not to force it or anything like that. It's you're coming out of your uncomfortable zone now, and that's what this new moon's going to do. Ever such a lot. I already predicted it. I was like, yeah, there's new moon wishes, but there is comfortability to come with it because you really are stepping out of the chrysalis now. It's going to be happening, and it's going to take you all the way through to the second half of this year. Second half of this year, it's going to be butterfly wings. So, I mean, just let's say an amen if we're all ready for that. You know what I mean? So let me just see if I've missed anything on my list here. Okay, so I'm just going to ask a couple of questions just to kind of like, spark a little bit of questioning. So, yourself, meaning, so if you've come here in this lifetime, I would like you to take on your new moon journaling, right? I would like you to list 4 things off the bat without even thinking about it of what you know are your superpowers. Straight away, not even thinking. You might want to do that now, actually. Sorry, my hair's a mess, isn't it? So I just realized while you're writing. 4 things, okay? So if you cannot answer that straight away, we got work to do. You know what I mean? Because you have so many superpowers in there. Superpowers can be personality traits. Now, Laura, much more. I hope you're watching Laura. She is a force to be reckoned with. I met her through my Hecker Codes group, and I met her in LA. I have never met anybody so like beautiful, powerful, funny, doesn't care to push herself to the front of your queue. Whereas I'm very British. I'm like, terribly sorry, terribly sorry. Laura can get things done, man. She's just like, boom, what do you want? Nah, I can't do that. That's a superpower. That's what I mean by a personality trait. I am a big clown. I will make you laugh and laugh and laugh because laughter is next to love, right? And I rejected this. Too loud, too noisy, too much. You know what I mean? I was told that even in ceremonies by other shamans, would you believe? I'm not too much at all. This is me. And I make people feel comfortable. That's one of my superpowers. Then you have the superpowers of, can you channel? Can you do this? Can you do that? What is it that you do? So maybe we split this up. Maybe give me two personality, two superpowers, meaning channeling or whatever. And if you stammer in any area, it's okay. It's okay. It's just a part of yourself that you don't know. So for us to walk around this like medicine wheel, as it were, it's to see where your strengths and abilities lie, not to go, oh my God, look what I don't have. Do you know what I mean? Not at all. That's why I work with the temples the way that they do, because each temple holds a medicine, right? And with the course that I'm going to share, we're going to basically do this with each temple, and each temple might like teach you balance. It might teach you about the divine feminine masculine frequencies. You know, the Great Pyramid will teach you about stability and receiving and transmitting. You'll have like, you know, the Temple of Isis for me is basically where you give your promise. You know what I mean? Where are you committing to what you said you were going to do, and where are you not? You know what I mean? So that's how the temples work, because it basically bounces back to you all of the questions that you've got to ask yourself. So let's ask that. So basically, two personality questions, two gifts and superpowers that you have. If you have more, write them. Go for it. Right? Okay. So then on the second list, right, I want you to write a secondary list that when you tap into it, you know that you can do it. It's like an itch you can't scratch. It might just be one thing. The one thing is all I want right now. Okay. For example, I bought a frame drum. Frame drum is the one that you play with your hands. Okay. It's the original form of drumming, which the women did in the very, very beginning. Women were drummers, right? I can shamanic drum and all the rest of it. I have this drum that I'm trying to play. And when I play it, albeit not that great, I can feel that energy and a heat coming at me. And I know that I can flick around this thing. I can't in this life, but I know I can. It's like an itch I can't scratch. So for me, if I was going to put that on my list, it's playing that frame drum, because when I access that, the reason I'm bringing this into the circle is if I access that, no, when I access that, okay, I know it's going to unlock so much of my medicine, because I obviously have a lot of medicine in my drumming. I know I do, because I take my drum everywhere with me, especially in the temples. But the hand drum, okay, so there might be something. Let me give you another example of something where you kind of know that you can do. Maybe it's channeling a certain group, or maybe it's just channeling full stop. You know what I mean? Maybe it's the fact that you know that you could write a book, but you don't know where you would even start. You know what I mean? Maybe you're basically, working at home one-on-ones, being a, you know what I mean, a healer or whatever. Maybe you know that you're capable of holding groups. So I'm calling this one like the infinite possibility list, right? And it's not just stuff like I want to do skydive. That's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about the layer that sits underneath here. So there's all these encodements that you're aware of. Okay. What about these that sit dormant here? Because this is what we want to unlock and understand. What are those things that you've got a real deep interest for? Like, I know that I can make medicines, but I don't. I get all my medicine sisters around me to make them for me, but I know I can do it, but I just don't. Why is that then? Because maybe Marie's a bit scared of her power? Another thing, right? It is. I'm scared of basically being whole, I suppose. So you've got your first list and your second list. So I want you to go into that, and it doesn't have to be long. In fact, the shorter it is, the better, because it's going to give you a better chance to sit with it. Okay. And then on this new moon, okay, I want you to ask your golden council of light, okay? I want you to ask them two things. I want you to ask them to show you how you can be in your most highest level of service in this next now moment. And what I mean in that, and the reason I've asked you to ask like in this next now moment and not like in your life, is because when it's too vast, things get missed. So let's give it a timeline. Asking your golden council of light, please show me, because you've now acknowledged the gifts you have. You've acknowledged the gifts that you think you do have. So that's acknowledging there's parts of you that you want to activate. Now asking your golden council, like, show me Let's give it a timeline. That can be up to you. You could say by the end of the year. You could say by end of April. Do you know what I mean? Or even by the end of next week, whatever's comfortable for you. I want to be shown my next logical step in activating in fullness my gifts and abilities, my mission, my purpose. How can I be in service in my highest timeline? And then get them to show you. Because what happens is when we because my work's all about manifestation and everything like that. When we ask too bigger a thing, we get lost and then we lose interest and then it just doesn't come through. If we can micro channel, basically, like if we were stood in front of the pyramid, if we were stood in front of temple, let's work from the book, shall we? If we were stood in front of temple Kamombo, all right? Now, Temple Kamombo is this. You don't really get a good idea of it, but that's Temple Kamombo. I hope those that are coming to Egypt with me are getting excited by seeing this. But you can see forgiveness, acceptance, divine balance, and order. Now, it is right on the Nile. Well, when you stand, it's two temples in one. You have on the left Temple of Horus. You have on the right Temple of Sobek. Arch enemies, hated each other, but they are in one temple together because they understood what it was to actually be accepting of one another. They had to forgive one another, which is why there's two temples in one. There's a line that runs down the middle, which is the line of Ma'at. She brought through balance, order, justice, and all of the above to basically bring this harmonious balance between the two very, very powerful gods, right? So, of course, forgiveness, acceptance, divine balance, and order, that's where that comes from. So if you were stood in front of that temple, and you were stood there, like, what kind of questions would you be asking? Well, first of all, you'd stand on that ley line there. You'd be actually now asking in questions about your divine feminine and your divine masculine, right? Where is it imbalanced? Where do I need to? I mean, forgiveness and everything like that comes from the divine feminine, right? I would say balance and order would come from the divine masculine. Do you know what I mean? But one has to be fully activated with the divine feminine for the masculine to be able to come through to you in its correct form and energy. Otherwise, it's controlling. So it's the divine feminine that needs to come first. So do you see how you can work with these temples on questioning where you may be out of alignment, right? So let's work with Temple Kamombo with what I've just said to you guys. With you wanting to bring your encodements online and everything like that, then there's all those encodements that are still lying dormant and sleeping and everything like that. But there's something going on there, and then how can I be in my highest level of service? Or what blocks stand in the way of me attaining that? Do you know what I mean? Because that's finding the balance, right? So on this new moon, it's all about being shown the new you, right? Or the ancient you, which is ready to emerge. Okay. So now that's a little thing just to be working with now, because we are going to do a meditation and activation. We're going to go and journey to Egypt a little bit because we're going to bring all this energy in, right? But I suppose, what can we call the tone of this video that I'm recording now? I mean, what would we say? It's almost like we're understanding how to work with the temples as the Akashic records, right? Everything in your life is an Akashic record. I'm looking at my trees now above my behind my screen here. I look at the trees if it's windy and I see a bird flying that way or something going on there or whatever. I can read everything and gain information from nature. I can ascertain what's going on here, there, just by being aware that the Akashic records is always around you and in you. So this is no different being stood in front of the temples, right? And looking at Temple Kamombo or looking at the Great Pyramid and asking them to speak to you and show you so you can feel where things are out of alignment. So we are talking about becoming here. We are now talking about stepping through a portal, right? Which then allows you to give yourself permission. Permission is a really big thing. To give yourself permission to be whole, unapologetically you, to live for yourself and not for others. We were told that's selfish. It's not. To bring forth and just be in the world exactly how you want to be. Okay. I swear like a sailor. I love a good dirty joke. I have a gin and tonic now and then. You know what I mean? I am sick to death of basically walking around trying to be this perfect priestess, which I've made up in my mind. There ain't no such thing. I'm living my life. And that's what my Black Magdalene said to me. She said, you are being unapologetically you. You are having fun, you're enjoying, you're just being you. That is being in service. So you get where I'm going with all of this. You know what I mean? It's about truth. It's about truth. It's about being in the truth of who you are. I have been faced with so much inauthenticity, people being shady all around me, somebody saying one thing to my face and doing another, people behaving quite badly around me. And I've gone, what is all this about? I've witnessed a lot of spiritual stuff going on around me, teachers as well, even in the governments. Everybody's just, there's a lot of lies out there. And I thought, well, this is my movie. Why am I being shown all of this? And I have to look deep within inside myself and find out where my inauthentic self is firing on all cylinders, because there's a part of me that's doing that. Otherwise, I wouldn't be surrounded by all of this. So I had to look deeply. And I thought, where do the lies land within me? And it was like, I am not showing up in the world in my truth. I am not being who I want to be. I'm going to shapeshift a little bit because that group, you know what I mean? Like, I want to come in submissively. I'm going to dim my light because I don't want them to think that I'm a know-it-all. I'm going to come in over there because I'm not too sure about those people either. I'm not going to speak my truth. You know what I'm saying? We have to be in our fullness now, because once we activate that and we step into that, that's when all our encodements come online. If you do want to build a 3-floor ashram, then there it is. Do you know what I mean? That's kind of like the fruits of your labor. But the tree is the truth. The fruits of the labor is the thing that hangs on the tree of life, but the tree is the truth. As above, so below. Deep root system, yeah? Deep root system. Get down there, do your shadow work, because the problem is if we are not in our authenticity, it's sometimes a lack of shadow work, or we haven't gone deep enough and all the rest of it. We got to get this done now, because we don't want to be living in dark nights of the soul forever, right? So that's what this video is about. So let's pull some cards, because I'm like, and then we'll go into a bit of a meditation activation kind of thing. So I got these cards yesterday and they're really good. Now I am offering, which is a new thing since I got back from LA, because I think it's extremely assistive. Now, the Hecker Codes mentorship, as you know, is very invested in time and money and all the rest of it, because it's like 6 weeks long. Okay. So I did this card reading, this oracle reading, and it's basically the Hecker Healing Oracle reading. How cool is that? And I used the hieroglyphs to basically set in Seer, Hugh, and Hecker, intention, action, creation, and I use all these different decks, right? So these are going to be featuring on that card reading, because once we actually ascertain in the card reading where your blocks are, what I'm talking about here, actually, where the blocks are and where, where you may be a little bit stagnant, and then we go into the second phase, which is basically bringing the idea into a manifested thing. Then we come into Hecker, which is the manifestation. We start to throw cards and we start to unpack this. And the chances are at the end of that card reading, there will be a soul retrieval of some sort that we need to go and get. You know what I mean? So there'll be a part of you vibrating out here going, not okay, being seen. So then what we do after the card reading is Marie takes you into a very, very powerful shamanic journey, all depending on what gods and goddesses step forward for you. Maybe a drumming journey, who knows? But we go and we retrieve that soul part that showed up in the cards. And I mean, that's a card reading. There's the thumb again. We got thumbs up from spirit. That's so funny. Anyway, we basically go back and soul retrieve that part of you that is stood in the way between you and becoming, right? So that's the new thing that I've just released, actually. So those of you interested, let me know, and then we can do that card reading for you and get you cracking. Many ways to do Hecker. So these cards, check this out. Twin Flame Ascension, Take Me Home Oracle deck. Not one mention of looking for your beloved because they complete you. What a load of shit. I'm sorry, I don't mean to be disrespectful, but I am a little bit tired of understanding that the twin flame relationship is actually about the other person. It's not. You are your beloved you seek. That is it, and that is all. Your sacred other is the one that reflects your shit back to you, so you can find the one you seek. You, okay? Now, these cards are really good. There's some really powerful spreads in them, and I did a deep dive with them yesterday. But anyway, let's pull a card and let's see what they say, because one popped out. Let's have a look at that. Okay. Okay. Hang on a second. Mission accomplished. Welcome home. 1111. So, I mean, you know what? What can I tell you? You know what I mean? Let's have another one, shall we? Because mission accomplished. Okay, so we know that's a twin flame number. So everything I'm talking about and the pathway that I'm giving you on how to kind of like come into alignment, This is what that is just confirmed. Sorry, my mirror is opposite. It's hard to show things on the screen. That is confirmed exactly that this is like welcome home. This is the pathway to becoming. This is how we do it. We have to pitch up. We have to turn up for us to actually come into this space. We can't hang back anymore. It's just not possible. We got to just step in, you know? So what's the next one? Beyond illusion, change. Hang on a second. Let me do this here. Change your perception. Beyond illusion, change your perception. Okay. Everything is mental. This is the Hermetic principle of mentalism. Everything is in the mind. You have a thought that is a belief system that makes you feel a certain type of way. How do we change this whole gig so you are winning, I am winning, and we are living in our highest encodements, right? And our highest best life, right? How do we change that? Through belief systems, through the mind. So as much as you want to push your mind away and not have an ego and all the rest of it, it's very important that we keep this guy around, but he needs to take a back seat. Okay, because basically it needs to feed into what we feel. So we must change our perception to be able to go beyond the illusion. So if you think you have no money, if you think you are unsafe, if you think that you're never going to get out this dark night of the soul, if you think that you are just destined to be a cave dweller, well, a cave dweller you will be. So we have to change our perception. So again, if we did a Hecker Codes reading, or we went to Egypt, or we did any of the above, or you basically work with any other methods that change belief systems, let me tell you, your whole world would change. How much are you holding on to the old, and how much are you welcoming in the new? Change is scary. Acknowledge that. That's an inner child thing, right? So now, third one, everything comes in threes for me. Awareness. Hang on. Crystal clear vision. All right. So we have mission accomplished. Oh, bloody hell. Let me get this right here. There we go. Mission accomplished. Beyond illusion. Oh, bugger. There we go. Change your perception. And we have awareness. Okay. So mission accomplished, beyond illusion, awareness. Welcome home. Change your perception. Crystal clear vision. Right. So we need to be able to see where we're going, to be able to navigate out of this current timeline, to be able to step in what we truly came here to do. Now, I always like to do another deck of cards. So that's one there. And then we're going to go into meditation. Right. So this one is, my friend bought me this, the Oracle of Portals. So good. Now, I know we all love cards, which is why I'm doing two decks here, because I'm obsessed with them. So anyway, let's just humor Marie and do another set of cards, because these are so, I'm just going to read my messages while amen, amen, amen. Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, Ottawa, Canada. Hi, Alini. Alini's coming to Egypt with me. We're so excited. We're so excited. Okay. 6 + 3 is 9. Oh my God. Okay. I'm sweating now. You just said that. I'm just like, so this is what co-creation looks like. You guys on the chat with me. You know what I mean? Okay, so let's see what the Oracle of Portals says. So let's take out 3 cards. I have to show you the back of these cards as well, because I mean they're just so rad. Look at this is the back of them. How cool are they? That's us, by the way. It's me. Okay. Realm of the Fae. So this is basically, for me, this is all about the magic and the underworld and everything like that. And it's basically going into the elemental kingdom. It's also about like getting ourselves rooted. We have to be really deeply in the earth. Let's just immerse ourselves in the enchantment of Avalon, of the earth, of the fairies, the fireys, you know, the dragons, you know what I mean? Like the gnomes, all of them, you know, the salamanders. Let's get into like the magic and awe and the playfulness of what it is to be physically grounded, because essentially that is the activating factor, being here, right? And then the second one, I can't write this, landing. And there's a dragon. Okay, do we really need to put another card? Because they're just all on there anyway. But there we go. And there's that here, if you look here, landing. Here's the opening to the cave. And would you say that that is sunset or sunrise? I don't know. A beginning or a completion? That's up to you. Dragon, Kundalini energy of the divine feminine. Doesn't matter whether you're a guy, you've also got a dragon sitting at the base of your spine. Okay. So that's what we got here. And it's in the cave, but it's not in the cave. I said cave dwelling, didn't I? Uh-huh. Not cave dwelling, because there's an opening there. There's a portal. So if we are landing, if through this, get it right. God, my angle's all wrong. If through this, we get this, then what does number 3 say? This is fun, isn't it? Hey? Oh, this is amazing. Rebirth. There she is, the phoenix rising, or there he is. The phoenix is rising, the rebirth. Okay. So through being in the realm of the Fae, landing and our dragon portal, rebirth is upon us. So, I mean, it's inevitable what's going to be happening this year anyway. Go to Egypt, don't go to Egypt. Either way, it doesn't matter what you do. You're going to be a certain type of way, which means you've chosen to pop through the portal. That is how it's going to be. And you know what? Let go or be dragged. That's it, really. You know what I mean? But for many of you, because I've spoken to a lot of you here as well, like, and those that you watch this, the importance that if it is in your capabilities, listen, the portal is open every single year. Every single year, the mission changes. Every single year I go to Egypt, I'm told something different. New star seeds come. This year, we've got a lot of the Essenes energy, like a lot of the people that are coming, they're like Essenes. Anna, grandmother of Jesus, has been coming in. I have been waiting for her to show herself to me in Egypt. And she's saying, just wait, just wait, just wait. She's very connected to the Dendera temple which is Hathor's temple. She was a high priestess there, a high initiate, as she was in the Sekhmet temple. She was a high priestess of Sekhmet. And I've been waiting for this energy to slowly move over to the Avalon frequencies, because the other side of this sacred travel that I'm doing, FYI, I haven't officially announced it yet, but in 2025 August for Lions Gate, I am indeed holding a very small group, taking us to Avalon to go and access all of the dragon energies and everything like that. But it's going to be through the Magdalene / Egyptian frequency. It's going to be doing it Marie style. Now, I was born just down the road from Avalon, so there isn't much I don't know about that area. You know what I mean? As far as like logistics and stuff, and energetically, I don't do too badly. Do you know what I mean? But we'll be staying at the Chalice-Well Garden. So the point of me sharing this with you is there is a whole infinity symbol, kind of like sorry, I just need to read here. Purchased a Kundalini Dragon Shamanic Journeying Yoga course online. Okay, King Arthur. There you go, King Arthur. Now, I'm not going mad, am I? A lot of us are starting to feel this infinity symbol weaving between Avalon and Egypt. That's what it is for me. A lot of people come into Avalon through the Arthur. They come through Avalon through Arthur. I had a bit of a struggle with that word then. That guy. Anyway, they have a struggle. Sorry, I have a struggle with getting that word out. It always gets me. You know what I mean? But a lot of us are starting to feel that Avalonian frequencies. And why is that? Because that is the heart chakra. It's very connected to Aquarius and the Piscean energy. That is the heart chakra of the world. Now, I'm Aquarian, so I'm deeply encoded into Avalon. But then we all are, because we all have a heart, don't we? Do you know what I mean? So we have so many different ways that you can enter into Avalon, the mystic, Arthur, the dragons, Merlin. For me, Merlin is actually Thoth. It's much of the same. But for me, my process with bringing Egypt into Avalon is basically through the Essenes and everything like that. So it is a beautiful a merger. So if that is happening, and Marie is now indeed bringing an Avalonian tour to match the Egypt tour, energetically, what is that? It's coming into balance. That I always know when I have something going on in my life, that is my balance, right? So I'm not saying what goes on with me is definitely going to happen with you, and I'm being in my ego like that. I don't mean that. I just mean that I'm very aware of what goes on in my life is a reflection of what's going on in the energies in the world, because we're all one. You know what I mean? So there are so many teachers out there stepping up. I know there is a bunch of you here that are teachers, and I know that you have the capacity to bring others to these magical places. And I know on that list, some of you have the capacity to do what I do, if not even bigger. Right. And I know that you're space holders for these sacred sites and places. And that's another huge call to action for me. We need all hands on deck. We need to bring these encodements forth. Why? So you can know yourself as these ancient wisdom keepers, so you can actually help others understand and also have a lot of fun. It's time for travel. It's time for growth, and it's time for us to come together. So I know there's a lot of teachers out there, and that's another aspect of my work, to help the teacher step in onto the platform so they can bring their people to their wisdom teachings, because there's certain people that are encoded to come and work with you that it's an agreement. So we need to get our backs up off the wall and we need to step forward in any way, shape, or form that I can actually assist and hold space for that. That is part of my mission. So that's a big rah rah, let's get this done. You know what I mean? Because I'm telling you now, it's happening at a rate of knots. So if you're getting called to Avalon, there's a reason. If you're getting called to me, chances are you're going to pop out the other side holding doors because I'm going to just take the depths of your teachings and I'm going to help you explode it into the world. So that's amazing and awesome, isn't it? So in light of that, I thought this was gonna, it's never a little quick dab in with me, is it? But I do need to now kind of calm it down a little bit as we move into Egypt. So I would like to ask you all just to kind of like get yourself comfortable now, because I'm going to take us, we're going to go to Egypt now, no passport needed at all. And we are going to journey to the land. And I just want you to experience and feel the land. And I want you to, yeah, we're just going to do that. I'm not quite sure what goes on after that, but that's why they call it channeling, isn't it? You know what I mean? So find yourself in a comfortable place. And then just get your crystals if that's what you need to do, you know, and get yourself comfy. I'm going to light some incense here, like I always do. And I'm going to bring in my dragon because I have my galactic dragon here. Isn't he lovely? Hey, he's also been many places with me, but he's in my hand today because we're going to be going to Egypt. I feel a lot of Avalon energy coming in now. I've just mentioned it as well. So who knows what's going to happen now? Let's just go with it. So now just taking some nice, big, deep breaths. I just want you to take a big inhale through the nose and a big power breath out, like big one. And taking another breath, inhale. Fill those lungs as much as you can. Power breath out. And then one more like that. Inhale. And a power breath out. And now closing your eyes and just allowing your breath now as you breathe in through the nose, breathing all the way up to the crown, pausing, and then slowly exhaling through the nose. Allowing the breath to rise once more, breathing in and breathing out. And just allowing everything to start settling down. You slowly start to let go of the noise and vibration of Marie talking a lot. Let go of the frequencies that have entered your being. Let go of the mind. Relax your jaw. Allow your tongue to just rest. Relax your belly, your shoulders. And feel everything just settle down, even your light body. Take a breath in and take a breath out and just allow those to relax too. And now as you breathe, you start to bring that divine breath, closing off the back of the throat, bringing in the ujjayi breath or the ocean sounding breath. Inhale and exhaling. And just allow the sound to bring your attention and your awareness deeply within you now. And with each breath, you let go of everything out there. You find yourself melting into your inner world, your inner void, your inner cosmos. And as you float in your inner cosmos, you're just aware of a midnight blue sky, stars all around. And you can feel that your being is being pulled to another timeline, and you fear not, you just allow yourself to be taken. You feel everything like speeding up, almost like a wind whistling past you. And you have been here, you've traveled many times before, so this does not worry you. Allow yourself to be taken now. And now suddenly you find yourself slowly walking. And first of all, you become aware of your bare feet. And as you walk, you are in what appears to be sand. slowly and methodically walking. You are holding a veil around you, a shawl around your head. For the wind is not aggressive, but the wind is definitely whispering in your ear, letting her know that you are here. And it feels like an element that is just present because it's part of your power. You hold the wind also. And as you walk, you feel the bellowing sun. And you look up, and above you in the sky is this bellowing sun, and it is indeed Ra. And you are not distressed by the heat and the rays that are bestowed upon you. In fact, you feel alive and ignited. Yet you walk still, methodically. You look to your left, and as far as the eye can see, it's just desert and sand. And as you walk with your beautiful dresses and skirts blowing in the wind, and if you are a man, maybe you are a man, still in your linens, covering yourself, you can smell the anointing oil on your skin, the incense in your hair. And as you walk across the desert, there is a mightiness within you. It's as if each foot that sinks into the sand, there is an acknowledgement of your presence. And it's as if the energy, the golden energy, is emanating out of the soles of your feet. And you connect with this land so powerfully. You can feel this frequency in your heart is so familiar, and you know without a shadow of a doubt, this is Egypt. This is your land. This is home. And you walk and walk, but you're very comfortable in this arid, hot, dry element. In fact, it's part of your superpower. You can actually feel and sense in your mind's eye the flames that flicker within, a strong presence of Sekhmet as she makes her flames known within you. She is in your blood. She is in your heart. She is in your belly. And this is somewhere where she is very at home, for you are an aspect of Sekhmet. So this does not stress you much. For the fire and the sun and the heat, again, part of your element, part of your superpower. You keep walking with a gentle smile on your face, feeling the energy beneath your feet, feeling the energy of the sun, the wind on your skin. You are powered up, you are energized, you are charged. You look up to the sun and you raise your hands as if you were reaching out to embrace the sun. And you let out a scream, a cry, but it's through pure joy. You are home. This feels so right. And now as you walk, it's as if you have walked into a different landscape. For just out to your right now, as you slightly turn your head, you can see now you are moving over a bank. And as you walk now, you find yourself walking towards a very powerful river. It's a huge river. And you are now walking on the sand, which is right on the banks of the Nile. You continue your methodical pace of walking, still ignited with your fire. You slow down for nothing. And as you approach the water now, you start to feel a different presence within you. You start to feel the gentle amniotic fluid of the womb. You feel actually to a point that you are still in the womb, you feel a bit swimmy. But you can feel the water codes, the water spirits calling you closer and closer. And the energy that you feel in your heart, in your hara, is that of Hathor. And she is the other side of Sekhmet. So it's the fire and the water. She is calling you to her waters. And you find yourself now letting go of the shawl. No need to cover oneself. You find yourself gently as you're walking slowly taking your clothes off one by one by one, until you find yourself standing at the edge of the Nile. You wiggle your toes and you have a cheeky little smile as you stand here derobed, completely naked, and ready to just immerse yourself in a purification ceremony of your own, you and the Nile and Hathor. You look to your left and you see the reeds and the herons and the bird life. You look to your right, and in the distance over the banks, you see the wild camels. And here you are looking up at Ra still, the beautiful hot sun bellowing you down on your skin. But now you feel something quite special, for you are cooled, yet you are heated. There is the divine balance between the two goddesses. Sekhmet and Hathor, take a moment to place your hands on your heart and breathe in the codes of Hathor. Take a moment to put the other hand on your belly and breathe in the fire of Sekhmet. You are a divine balance of the goddess frequencies, the fire and the water. And without hesitation, you dive in to the Nile and you are taken. You're a little surprised, for the current is a lot faster than you had anticipated. And you are washed downstream, but you let it take you, for there is a lesson here. There is no need to fight against the water. There is no need to fight against the current. For you, my dear, are in flow. You let your body go limp, and you trust, and you know that where and how you are being taken, well, this is the goddess, this is the mother, this is Egypt, this is rebirth. The Nile, she represents rebirth. She is the reflection of the Milky Way on Gaia. So you allow the magic of the stars in the water to just take you down the river. And as you float and you fight no longer, you feel yourself letting go of any resistance. Anything that you knew yourself to be less than, any doubt, any fear, any old ideas of who you thought you were. For you are not that. Being in the depths of the Nile now is taking you into a darker and darker place, but you fear nothing, for you have been taken into the womb. There is great comfort in the darkness as you allow yourself to just let go. Stay with that for a while. Feel yourself. Feel less and less strained, stressed. Feel almost like an energetic exhale. And as you let go, you become aware of the dragon within you, sleeping, curled up at the base of your spine. They start to awaken, and you can feel the Kundalini energy rising in your pelvis, stirring up the magic and the energy. Allow this to happen now as your dragon starts to unfurl its wings, starts to blink its eyes open. The dragon awakes within you. And just as the dragon reaches the fullness of your spine, outstretching its wings, you find yourself now walking out of the river of the Nile, doing exactly the same. And you are met by the most beautiful goddess, dressed in white, golden energy. It blinds you. Your heart space so open, you do not even have to adjust your eyes, for you know this is the goddess Isis, the mother, your mother. And as she wraps her wings around you now, covering your modesty, so to speak, you find yourself being given robes, a beautiful silk white linen robe. And if you are a man, much the same. For even the men are so connected to the divine feminine. You allow Isis to bring that aspect out of you. Allow your inner feminine to breathe a little. And without further ado, she turns and she takes you by your hand. And as you walk, you are very surprised that your golden feet are still activated. Every footstep you take, it's like the earth of Egypt awakens. And you find yourself now walking down an avenue of sphinxes. To your left and to your right, beautiful golden sphinxes, almost as if they are waiting like soldiers, like guards, royal guards, like sovereignty are waiting for you to walk down as if it could be the red carpet, but this is the golden avenue. And you walk with Isis, your shoulders lifted, poised. And as you walk, each footprint ignites the stone beneath your feet. As you walk, each part of the Sphinx glows even brighter with your golden presence. You take a moment to stop as you feel the earth vibrating beneath you. For this is what it feels when one is reunited with the golden lands of Egypt. This is a reunion. She is part of you more than you ever know. And there is so much of you in these lands. There is so much of you in these temples. And it is for you to know yourself once more. You continue to walk with Isis, walking all the way into this magical, powerful temple. And you are now aware that your presence alone ignites this temple. The gold and the light only comes when you take a step. And this is your presence that Isis says to you that you need to understand in this life. She says you light up a room, you light up a continent, you light up a country, a universe, a multiverse. You must know yourself and your light, how much one affects another. You look at Isis with tears in your eyes, for you do know this true in your heart. But in your earthly incarnation now, sometimes you forget. Sometimes that journey becomes a little too hard to bear. And she nods because she knows, for she has walked the same path. Isis has also lived a life of trauma. She knows what it is to become against all adversity. When she had to bring Horus onto the throne, she knows what it is to lose a beloved. She knows what it is to be pained, so pained in the heart that you cannot give up and you must continue. She squeezes your hand so tightly. And she says to you, you will never know how much you are loved. For in an earthly human incarnation, sometimes you will never know. And as she places her hand on your heart, she starts to send the energy. And you feel this overwhelming sense of being seen, being acknowledged, of your significance, of your purpose, and of your service. You feel yourself expanding. Parts of you start to unlock. Parts of you start to melt away. For they were just pain and trauma of feeling lost, unloved, unseen. But now Isis, she changes all of that. And you look her deep in her eyes as she does you. And then she places her hands on your shoulders to reassure you. She nods. It's a knowing nod. And all of a sudden you feel an infinite level of support. All of a sudden feeling so separate. It's gone. It's gone. You take a big inhale. And an exhale. And she turns now and she says, behind you, dear heart, there is the violet flame. In fact, it's the violet bonfire. and it sits in this huge chalice. It's like a huge fire pit, but it's bellowing the violet flame. But there are two beings that are waiting you there. Isis takes your hand and she says, "Come. There are others that wish to meet you that have been waiting for you. So you come to this violet flame now, and it's bellowing with fire, and you can feel the frequency of transformation, transmutation even happening before you even interacted. And these two beings now step to you, and it's now Saint Germain and Lady Portia. Lady Portia is Anna, grandmother of Jesus. And you bow your head, for you have been waiting to come home and find your family. And here they are. Saint Germain takes your hand. A huge rush of divine masculine energy comes through you, knowing that you are held, protected, supported, and stood up for in every moment. Now, Isis now communicates to you the importance of these beings. They are the keepers of the Aquarian age, the keepers of the violet flame. We are in the Aquarian age. This is now your time to shine. It is your time now to step in and be true of who you are. You know you're supported, and you know you are no longer alone. And you know this. Saint Germain takes your hand now, and he leads you up some steps. He asks you to take 3 deep breaths now, for on the 3rd breath you will step into the flames, and you will now transmute, yes, transform, but these flames are for becoming. These flames signify on this new moon, super moon, that you will step in to the next level of service to be, in truth, who you really are. You've already stepped in. You are ready for this. And as you step in, there is an absolute explosion. You have these massive angel wings that sprout out your back, huge white angelic wings. So athletic, so powerful. It's almost like you give them a shake and you just open them up. It spans the length of the courtyard. Even Isis is quite impressed because she's got some wings on her, and you've got these huge wings. Massive. In fact, Saint Germain and Anna, they stand back to give you space because now you stand in this huge chalice. These flames are not working with you because of your pain. They're working with you because they're bringing online, they're working for you. And you feel yourself rise bigger, bigger, bigger. And as you do so, you look up to the skies. Archangel Michael and his legions of light are swirling around. And he is just like celebrating you. And this is a time of becoming. The violet flame becomes you. The violet flame is you. And in your wings, they are flaming also. And the reason your wings are so big is when you walk, you will span so many Ks in those wings that wherever you walk and wherever you go, all will be blessed by your transformative, transmutive power of love and light. So much of it. So much of it. I want you to absorb and just be in that love as above, so below. You are now stood above in this huge chalice, looking up above at Archangel Michael and the legions of light. So much support for you. And you're looking down because you're up higher than Saint Germain. You're looking down on Isis. You're looking down on another anagram of Jesus, which is Lady Portia. And you stand here and you're like, sure, in your Egyptian temple. This is it. Now I ask you, as you stand here, you may speak this out loud or hold in your hearts. What is the promise in this now moment that you pledge? What are you promising to commit to? Something which is powerful enough to send you in your next level of becoming. Speak it out now. And as you reach your final words, it's almost like the flames have locked that in to the ethers, into the energy, into the grid. You will be brought back to that promise in every moment and every day. You will be reminded in your dream state what you have said, what you have committed to. for that is the truth. It's always the truth. Now the flames, they die down. You were helped back down the steps from this beautiful chalice. You stand here again, holding hands with Anna, which is Lady Portia, Isis, and Saint Germain. There is a fullness in your heart. And as you stand in this circle, there is so much light between you. And for the first time ever, you really understand what it is to be the heart of one. Bowing your head now. Taking 3 deep breaths. Giving thanks to the temples, to Egypt, to the Nile, to Sekhmet Hathor, Isis, Lady Portia, Anna, Saint Germain, the dragons. Gosh, that's just to list a few that I was aware of. And now, calling in the golden pyramid of protection over your whole being now, sealing in all of this, anchoring it in, protecting your energy field from anything low vibration that could disturb this. Thank you to Spirit. Thank you to you for being here. Now letting this all fall away. Very gently allow yourself to come back into your body. As you come back into your body, I want you to take some breaths now and breathe yourself all the way down into your root chakra. Take some breaths there. And then I want you to breathe all the way down into your Earth Star chakra. And then breathing in and taking it all the way down to the womb of Gaia. And you will feel a heaviness, but in a positive way as you land. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Well, I have to say, I cried all the way through that. That was so powerful. Oh, thank you guys. It was also incredible for me as well. I couldn't stop crying. That was really powerful. And like, I just want to cry now, guys, but in a good way. And I just want to thank each and every one of you here, each and every one of you that will watch this after, because I know there will be others, that this is always a co-creation. Yeah, so many tears. It's always a co-creation between us. And this is what I'm talking about. We hold space for each other so we can open up a portal like that. I might be speaking the words, but you guys are also bringing the energy. Anyway, I wish you all a lovely, blessed new moon. It's now 7:30 here, so it's nearly it's nearly the end of mine. Excuse me. And yeah, I'll speak to you in the comments and just enjoy. Enjoy. New moon wishes the whole way. Love you all so, so much. Thank you for being here. See you on the next one.